In this video, I'm going to show you 7 things you can do as a beginner with intermittent fasting to set yourself up for success. If you're thinking about doing intermittent fasting and you want to do it right, or maybe you've tried intermittent fasting before but it didn't work, these 7 rules that I'm about to give you are going to put you on the right track. These are also the exact same tips that I give to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gotten some amazing results. So you know it works. All right, let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Carlo Macapinlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com. I help busy professionals lose their unwanted body fat so they can fit better into their clothes, feel more confident, and get the most out of their lives. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. All right, let's get into it. Number 1 is you want to control your environment. Listen, habits are really hard to change. There's a popular saying out there that it takes 21 days to make or break a habit, and that may or may not work for some people, but for the majority of the population, it takes way longer than 21 days to establish a new habit. According to research, it actually takes more like 66 days to build a new habit. Did you know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February and only 8% are successful at achieving them? I don't know about you, but a 92% failure rate seems pretty tough to overcome. That's not even 1 out of every 10, which means that by next month, you'll be back to your old habits. And that's the most frustrating part about losing weight. That's why it's so tough for a lot of people. And the biggest reason why most people fail at losing weight, they want to make a change, they have the right intentions, they have all the willpower, especially in January, which is great, but they forget to change one really important thing. They forget to change their environment. And I always love to use the fish tank analogy when it comes to this. So once upon a time, I used to have a fish tank and one of the fish got sick. So I went back to the pet store, I asked the guy, I'm like, dude, how do I fix this? And he told me something very profound. He said, you don't treat the fish, you want to treat the water. You want to treat its environment. Because if you treat the fish, it may or may not get better, but you still have to put it back to the contaminated water. But if you treat the water, if you treat its environment, then the fish will eventually get better. Mind-blowing stuff, right? You can have all the willpower and motivation on the planet, but if you don't change your environment, you're not going to succeed. Now, let's talk about a couple of levels of environment here, and we're going to start with your environment at home because this is a big one. Listen, we are not wired for self-control, which means that if you have trigger foods at home, if you're surrounded with just temptations left, right, and center, you might be able to say no to it a couple of times, especially when your willpower is high, but eventually that's gonna start chip away at it, and eventually you're gonna cave in. Next thing you know, you're binging, you're gorging on food, and you're back to square one. And that should sound familiar, right? And this is such an easy thing to fix. It's such a low-hanging fruit. That's why I wanted to start with this. And there's really only one rule, is that don't stock bad food at home. Don't stock trigger foods at home. If you just take out your stash of chips, candies, cookies, soda, or whatever your caloric kryptonite is, and you replace it with better alternatives, give it some time, and I guarantee you, you're gonna lose weight. Next up is your social environment. Listen, you are the average of the 5 people you spend time with the most. If you hang out with people who eat like crap, you're most likely gonna eat like crap as well. And you're gonna be the average weight of the 5 people you spend time with the most. Think about it. And if you're trying to make a positive change in your life and your current friends make fun of you, then you need better friends. You wanna start hanging out with people who already have what you have, because these people are gonna force you to level up. And it goes both ways, right? If you start hanging out with the right people, then you're gonna start adapting their healthy habits, which is exactly what you want. This is why joining a gym, but more specifically joining group classes like CrossFit, bar, or any bootcamp style class where you're in a group setting is extremely beneficial when it comes to improving your health. Because automatically you are surrounded with the right people. You're surrounded with like-minded people. You're surrounded with people who are trying to make a positive change in their lives as well. You're also going to be surrounded with fit people, people who have what you want, and you want to start emulating their habits. Next up is your family environment. And this is a bit of a touchy subject, but I'm going to take a stab at it. And what I've learned from years of doing this is that you can love your family from a distance. For example, if you come from an overweight family, or your family has a history of diabetes or heart disease, and you're trying to make a positive change in your life, but your family isn't on board with it, then you need to start spending less time with them. I know that that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. Listen, you need to look after yourself first. You need to save yourself first. And there's another popular airplane analogy, right? That you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you try to save other people, right? You need to save yourself first. And if you have family members that you want to help, you want your family to start losing weight as well, I firmly believe that the best way to help them is by inspiring them. Lead by example. Listen, you can't choose your family, but you can choose how much time you spend with them. Remember, you always sink to the current level of your environment. If you're in a toxic environment at home, at work, with your family and friends, it's almost virtually impossible to lose weight. And that's why I wanted to start with this. Again, this is such a big one. And I'm a numbers guy, and I'm all about stacking the odds in your favor. Your environment determines your success. If you change your environment, your life will change. Number 2, pick an intermittent fasting schedule that works for you. And this one's pretty simple. Pick a time frame that works with your schedule and do your best to stick to that schedule every single day. And the easiest way to do this is just look at your schedule every day. Are you single? Do you have kids? Do you need to have a sit-down meal with your family? Do you have to eat with them every morning, or can you do it over dinner? What kind of work do you do? Do you do physical labor? Is your work flexible when you eat? Things like that. Once you figure that out, then pick an intermittent fasting schedule that works best with your schedule. And I always like to say that the minimum effective dose of intermittent fasting is the 16-hour fast because it's the most flexible and it's the easiest one to follow. For a lot of people, it's easy to skip breakfast, right? So you can just have your coffee or tea in the morning, and then you're just gonna have your regular lunch and dinner. And it works extremely well because for a lot of people, they schedule most of their social gatherings for lunch or dinner. For some people with a little bit more of a flexible schedule, they're okay with having a 4-hour eating window. For others, they're okay with eating once a day. What you don't wanna do is picking an intermittent fasting protocol that works against your schedule. And that should be obvious, but it's worth mentioning anyway. Make this work for you and be flexible about it. Like let's say you do a daily 16-hour fast, but one day you're only able to do 14. That's okay. And this also goes the other way, is that when your fasting window is up, but you're not hungry, let's say you're busy, you're doing a lot of errands, and you just don't have time to eat, then don't eat. Feel free to extend your 16-hour fast to a 20-hour fast or even a 24-hour fast. The longer you go with this, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, the better. And that's kind of the golden rule of fat loss. Eat when you're hungry, don't eat if you're not hungry. Mind-blowing stuff, right? Number 3, track your macros. One of the best things about intermittent fasting is that it frees you from having to eat 6 meals a day, which makes absolutely no sense. And it also frees you up from scheduled meals in general. It also gives you a little bit more freedom when it comes to food. Like you can eat a little bit more than usual, especially if you're just eating 2 meals or just 1 meal a day. But this does not give you the green light to hit up your local all-you-can-eat buffet or go for all-you-can-eat sushi once you break your fast. It's very easy to blow all the benefits that you just got from intermittent fasting by pairing it with the wrong diet. Like you can't just break it with a donut or a cookie or ice cream. Like for example, if you normally eat 6 meals a day and then you reduce it to just 2 meals a day, then you automatically create a caloric deficit, which is amazing. Listen, you need to be in a caloric deficit if you want to lose weight. What you want to do is you want to pair intermittent fasting with the proper diet. And it's really not that complicated. You want to eat whole, mostly unprocessed, single ingredient nutrient dense foods. You want to revolve your diet around plants and animals, but again, most importantly, you need to be in a caloric deficit. You want the hormonal aspect of intermittent fasting paired with the caloric deficit to work together. I'm gonna use cheese for example with this because it's become a really popular treat. It's high in healthy fats, and who doesn't love cheese? But you have to be sensible about it. You can't just gorge on mozzarella balls because it's healthy and expect to lose weight. And I want you to think about it this way. If you have a lot of weight to lose, would you rather eat fat from foods, or would you rather burn your own body fat for energy? Like you can have some cheese, but it's not a give an inch, take a mile scenario. Number 4, you need to adjust your lifestyle. I personally believe that there are 5 different aspects of health that you need to take care of: mindset, sleep, exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle. And they're not all weighed the same, and nutrition is just one piece of the pie. You can't just start intermittent fasting and ignore the rest. They all need to work in unison. First, you need to get your head in the right place. Like, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to change? Then you need to get adequate sleep every single night. And this is a big one. I don't care what kind of intermittent fasting schedule you follow. If you don't get proper sleep every night, it's gonna be almost impossible for you to lose weight. Next, you need to get your nutrition in check. 80% of your results will come from this, assuming you get adequate sleep, and intermittent fasting is such a great tool. But it only takes care of the when to eat part of the equation. If you want to know what to eat, then make sure you stick around until the end of the video, because I'm going to give you a proven step-by-step plan on how to get your nutrition in check. Next, you always want to move your body, and I'm going to talk about this in further detail coming up here. You want to make sure that your stress levels are in check, and you want to make sure that you're living an overall lifestyle that's geared towards health. Don't just do intermittent fasting and ignore the rest. Again, you want to focus on a complete lifestyle change. Number 5, don't rely on crutches. This one's a little bit controversial because some experts out there are advocating for diet soda and artificial sweeteners. You'll see one study that says that Diet Coke is okay, and then another study will vilify it. And I always have somebody in the comments that says, oh, I drank diet soda and I lost X amount of pounds. But it's all relative, and here's what you need to consider. Are those people at their target weight? Are they healthy? It also depends how insulin resistant you are, whether your body can tolerate some artificial sweeteners in your system. Here's the general rule when it comes to artificial sweeteners. You want to use it as a training wheel when you're just starting out. I'm talking about maybe, a couple of weeks, especially if you're extremely addicted to sugar, then yes, you can have some artificial sweeteners. But eventually, you're just gonna want to go without it completely. Remember, the whole point of fasting is to create periods where you're taking a break from eating and drinking liquid calories. It's not about cheating the system and seeing what you can get away with. That completely defeats the purpose of doing it. Number 6, you want to pair intermittent fasting with exercise. Now, I have a separate video that talks about exercise in terms of fat loss, and I'm going to link to it somewhere at the top here. But here's the only thing that you need to know about exercise. One of the best things that you can do for your overall health and fitness is that you want to be as physically strong as humanly possible. Having a lot of lean muscle mass is also a very strong indicator when it comes to overall lifespan. Like, just think about inactive, sedentary people, and they grow old and they become very frail and their bones break easily. Their quality of life sucks. But then you see the outliers out there, right? You see the really fit elderly people, they have amazing quality of life. They look awesome. And Mark Sissons, author of The Primal Blueprint, is my favorite examples of this. He's 67 years old and he looks amazing. And he's in better shape than a lot of people half his age. Like, which one would you rather be? And I want you to think about exercise differently. I don't want you to think about exercise as a method of weight loss. Think of it as something that complements intermittent fasting. Remember, exercise is for building muscle and improving your fitness, your cardiovascular health, all that good stuff. And intermittent fasting is for fat loss. Working out also creates a positive feedback loop because you just feel better afterward. Your body releases endorphins, you feel better about yourself, and you just start making better decisions. As to what kind of workout should you do, honestly, just pick one that you like. If you've been sedentary for a long period of time, honestly, going for a 10-minute walk every day will do wonders to your body. Number 7, give it some time. This is a big one. Listen, more likely than not, it probably took you months, if not years, to put on all the weight that you're trying to lose, which means that you can't just magically expect to lose it overnight. And that's the problem, is that people have severely unrealistic expectations about how long it's gonna take for them to lose their unwanted body fat. So I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. I want you to assess your current situation. Where are you at? Like, let's say you set a goal of losing 2 pounds every week. In 12 weeks or 3 months, that's 24 pounds of fat. That's a lot. And then you just keep going after that, right? So you want to give this some time. And if you've never fasted before, you are literally going against a lifetime of eating habits that's not geared towards health and fat loss. So be nice to yourself and give your body a little bit of time to adjust, because I promise you, it's going to be absolutely worth it. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, That's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.